back to another episode of the Think Your Soul Better podcast. It is me, your girl V, Von Licia Davidson to be exact. And I'm super excited to be back with another episode of the Think Yourself Better podcast. I took me a little time off, enjoyed my family, but we are back and better than ever. And you know what we do here. We're all things mindset, personal development, and we help you get from where you are to where you want to be by building your resilience and your mindset. I'm super excited about what we have coming up this season, if you will, for the podcast, but I don't want to get carried away. Today's episode is what to do, how to win when life's kicking your you know what, okay? And this episode is for anybody that is going through a time where you feel like every time you turn around, it's something. It's something every time, like what's up, God? Like what's going on? It's something every time I turn around. So we're going to talk about how to deal, how to build that resilience, how to move forward, how to not let life beat you down. Again, if you are new here and you do not know me, my name is Von Licia Davidson. You can call me V. Whatever works for you works for me. And I am a mindset and resilience coach. I love helping people get to the next level. And what we do here on the podcast is just that. We want you to leave here feeling better. We want you to be a better person, to feel like you can go conquer the world after you listen to an episode of Think Yourself Better. And so today, let's jump right into it. I think that somebody needs to hear this. If you are somebody who you've been dealing with feeling like almost want to give up, because it's like every time I turn around, it's something. Like, okay, one step forward and I'm not 2 steps backwards. I will never forget feeling like that. My husband and I, we were going through a tough time financially. We had lost everything. We had a $1 million lawsuit, over $1 million lawsuit against us and our companies and our persons. And during the time, it just felt like every time we turned around, it was something else. It was something knocking us down. It was something trying to take us out. And we came out on top. And, thank God for it. But in the moment, it felt like, Lord, what is happening? What's going on? How am I going to get past this? And so I want to just give you a few tips, a few things that help you to get past or deal with on a day-to-day basis. How do I deal with? And for me, I'm going to say the first thing is going to be mindset. And you guys know I talk about mindset all the time, but how do I build my mindset? What do I do to build my mindset? How do I go from feeling like, okay, I'm literally ready to give up. I'm literally, feeling like I can't do it anymore. This ain't gonna work for me. How do I build this? I wrote some things down and I want to share them with you guys. And the first thing we're talking about is mindset, but not in the way that you think. We're going to literally pause without quitting. And what does that mean? When I first went through, let's go back to that lawsuit. We lost everything, our assets, our accounts, everything was frozen. I remember being in Houston. My husband and I, we had a townhome in Atlanta. We had a business here in Houston. We had business in Atlanta. I'll never forget being court ordered. I had to be in Houston and I couldn't get back home because my assets were frozen. I couldn't spend any money. And this went on for a little while. So much so, it went on for so long that one of my good friends, I still remember this like yesterday, shout out to ZZ, had to go to my house because we literally got to the point to where, I think we were in denial at one point. We literally got to the point of eviction, right? And as they were bringing stuff out of our house, right, she was grabbing stuff. And I never will forget feeling like during that time, I knew that I didn't have a quitting spirit. I knew that we wouldn't stay here. I knew that we would come back out on top. I knew that God was going to show us why we were dealing with this. It was going to be for our greater good, right? But I will never forget feeling like, okay, I need a mental break, a pause. So being on social media during that time, and this was like at the peak of Instagram, right? And I was in radio. I was not famous, but I had a little following. I had connections. This was all on the news. So like it was like a thing, right? And I had to not quit. I didn't give up. But I knew that I had to take a pause and take a break from the public eye, from social media. And so that's one of the things I wrote down is that you have to take a breath. You can cry, you can take a beat. You just can't quit. Take a moment. And what does that look like? I mean, build a pause plan, right? Like decide like, okay, me and my best friend, we do this a lot. Like we're gonna take a mental break from social media, a fast, we call it, from social media. Take this time and journal and go to therapy, baby. Because it surely helped me. And just take some time to be alone. It doesn't mean that you're quitting. It doesn't mean that you're giving up. But what we, in layman's terms, it's you're regrouping. Because when you're going through a lot, when you're going through all of these things and you feel like life is beating you down, you don't need to put on a facade like you got it all together. You don't have to show up for everybody. Take some time and pause and say, hey, I need to take a beat. I need to take some time away. And you do just that. And it's okay. It's okay to take that time away. And so that's the first thing, is that we're going to build our mindset. It's a mindset thing, but not in the way that you think was like, oh, okay, it's all about what. No, pause, but don't quit. Right? Take some time to pause and then make sure that during that time, you're feeding yourself all the things that are good for your soul, your spirit, your mind, right? So for me, that's connection with God, with Christ. For me, that may be fasting. It's watching, my pastor on YouTube over and over again, so I get it, right? So it gets into my brain. Whatever that means for you, journaling, reading a good book that's going to challenge you and, make you think critically, right? That's the first thing, okay? So what's the first thing? Mindset, pause without quitting. You're not giving up. You're just taking a beat, right? Right? That's a good one. You like that one? The next one that we're going to talk about is rewrite your story. I put that here, but I put rewrite your story and the way that you're telling it to yourself. And so what does that mean? My friend was literally grabbing stuff. Now, mind you, she had a small car at the time. She could only get so much. She was sending me pictures and saying, hey, listen, everything's outside. I wish I still had the pictures. Everything's outside, right? What do you want me to grab? In my mind, I'm losing everything. In my mind, life is like, like whooping my you know what. In my mind, woe is me. In my mind, this ain't fair, right? All these things. But the story that you tell yourself matters. And so one of the things that I begin to tell myself is that I can get it all back. If I could get it once, I could get it twice, right? The true definition of a hustler is to be able to lose it and get it back, right? Like the true definition of somebody who grinds, the true definition of resilience is to get knocked down and get back up. And so, yes, it was difficult. Don't get it twisted. Yes, I had times where I was crying and I felt like, and I ain't trying to be funny, like, and this was over, 10 years ago, but I was younger and more into labels, and baby, that was bringing out my red bottoms, my Versace's, my Gucci, my Louis, everything was like outside. Like, what's up? I was having a fit, right? But I had to start telling myself in my mind that if you could lose it, you could get it back. If you could get it once, you could get it twice. It's nothing, right? It's nothing. And my sister and everybody else was like, is that yes show outside, right? And you may look crazy to everybody else, right? You may sound crazy. You may sound crazy to yourself, but you gotta sometimes be crazy. You gotta tell yourself, listen, I know what it looks like, but this is what it is. I am going to beat this, win this, come out on top. I'm not going to lose. Losing ain't in me, right? And you say it until you believe it, right? So what do you do? What do you do? You might have a chant. Might sound crazy. You may have an affirmation. I love affirmation. You may have a scripture. Whatever you need to do that you need to repeat to yourself over and over and over again, do that. Don't tell yourself, oh, every time I turn around, it's always something. Nothing ever works out for me. It's always some, you know what going on, like, man, people always trying to get over on me. I don't never, like, I must be nice. I don't never win. No, don't tell yourself that. Tell yourself that you can and you will come out on top. Period. Right? Period. I tell my story and parts of my story, and I'm always open about who I am and what I've been and what I've seen, because people need to know that, like, you hear this stuff and you see people and you like, oh yeah, of course, like they got it made. I don't know. You need to see somebody who really truly and for real knows what it means to be resilient, knows what it means to get knocked down and have to build yourself back up by the grace of God, knows what it's like to feel like, you over it and you're tired and you don't want to keep fighting, but you're going to, because you know you were made for more. You know that there's more. You know that there's more fighting you. You know that you can do it, right? And so that's why I'm always open about my story. And we could go on and on and on. I feel like I've been knocked down so many times in life, but I ain't never ran from a fight. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not that girl. Like, what's up? You like, let's do it. And that's always been my personality. It's my personality now against life. It's my personality when I have anything that's trying to take me down. Like, no, it don't work like that. Like, you can't take nothing from me. I'ma fight for it. And I'ma bet on me. I can promise you that when it comes down to it, when it's all said and done, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna walk away from this, baby. That's how you gotta talk to yourself. That's how you have to talk to your situation. And I'm not talking to you, and you're like, okay, I've dealt with everything. I've dealt with financial struggle. I've dealt with watching my son on life support. Do you hear me? I've dealt with watching my husband in ICU, doctors telling us he won't live a year. I've dealt with all kinds of things. I was born to poverty. My mother was a drug addict for a part of my life. Like, I could tell you and 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 give you more and more and more and more. And that's not to make you be like, oh, no, I want you to know that if I could get it all back, if I could go back now and buy whatever I want and get whatever I want and take care of my kids and give them the things that they want, and me and my husband can, a vacation for a long time was like, what? Vacation where? Now we can go where we want to go. It's a blessing to be able to say, listen, I beat life's you know what. It tried me. Yeah, it tried me, but it didn't win. And that is your story too. You just have to truly, truly, truly believe that. So, what is it? Number one, you pause, but you don't quit. Right? You pause, but you don't quit. Number two, you rewrite the story that you're telling to yourself. Talk to yourself nice. Okay? Rewrite the story even if it look like you're losing. Down to the wire, you still go out saying, I'm a winner, okay? Until you can't mumble another word. That's what you say. That's what you speak. You have to speak life over every situation that you deal with, big, small, projects at work to dealing with loss. You have to speak life, okay? Number three. Let's talk about number three. Now, y'all, I love a good plan. So for me, this one I wrote down is build your blueprint. I will never forget feeling like, and for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I had a show in Atlanta, Georgia. I worked in radio. I hosted one of the first women's personal development and resilience conferences. We did it 2 years in a row. It was amazing. Had some of your favorite influencers and celebrities, and it was awesome. Panelists was what? And when you sit back and people watch you, it's one thing to fall and ain't nobody looking. It's another thing to fall and everybody can see. I never forget feeling like they don't say, look at her. And maybe they did. But even still, I didn't come this far to come this far. So now it's time for me to write my blueprint. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I had lost everything. We're talking about, and to give you an example, this is not to boast. This is not to, we're talking about when you're going from, making thousands of dollars and sometimes a couple of weeks to everything's locked. Everything's, you can't spend nothing. They didn't, shut you down, right? So we didn't have nothing, right? We back to square one, like the folks say, right? And I did it again, right? I said, okay, listen, I've built this successful beauty brand, if you will. My husband and I had a partner. We had a hair store in Houston. We sold hair online, an e-commerce store. Then I worked in radio, and so I was doing my thing. And I said, okay, I'm not at a point to where I could lose all of this and go buy new inventory and invest in this, invest in that. But what can I do? Sitting with nothing, down to zero. I want y'all to understand now, because some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about nothing. I'm talking about you go and buy somebody's house so you can get something to eat, right? I'm talking about nothing. To rebuilding. And I sat down and I said, okay, what skills do you have? What have you done? You've built a successful business. You've built a successful conference. You have a growing radio show. What can you do? You can show other women how to do it. And I wrote it down and I created a plan and I followed through. And I ended up helping over 5,000 women build their e-commerce businesses. Guess what I had done? I had rebuilt another 6-figure business. So I went from watching my stuff out on the lawn, having nothing, to rebuilding my business and my brand and building a 6-figure e-commerce consulting company. So that's why I'm not moved by the devil trying to scare me and take nothing from me, because no, I'm going to get it. God gonna always run it back. Okay, so create your plan. Look at your situation. Look at where you are. And it's with anything. It's with your business. It's with your personal life, whatever your goals are. Whatever your goals are, sit down and write out a plan. Write out your plan. So that was number 3 for me. It was break it down, build the blueprint. And so what does that look like? If I had to give you, I wrote down a prompt, right? If this pain had a purpose, what would it be showing me? And what would I do with it? How would I work it out? And I wanted to share. I wrote this down or typed this down. The setback is the syllabus. The breakdown is your blueprint. What are you going to do? The setback is the syllabus. The breakdown is your blueprint. How you going to get back up? Because I know you ain't just going to stay down there now. Right? What you gonna do? So take out your journal. I mean, I know you got some plenty around the house you're probably not using. Pull out one of them bad boys and figure out what is it that you're going to do. If it's career-wise, what skills do you have? Pull out your resume, look at it. Why they ain't calling back? What's going on? Create a plan. What can you do this week? What can you do this quarter? Break it down by day, by week, by quarter, by month, by quarter. Break it down and then follow the blueprint. When you have a blueprint for a house or something that you're building, you follow the blueprint. You come in, you don't just start moving around all willy-nilly. You follow the blueprint. What you gonna do? Because I know you're not gonna lose. That's not an option. What you gonna do? Right? And y'all, the last one, and this one here, I don't even gotta look at this one. I know this one. I remember what this one say. Y'all ready? Guard your, you hear me? You hear what I said? Guard your peace. One of the biggest enemies to resilience is allowing negative talk in your ear. Because you start going, you pick up the momentum, and then somebody say something, you be around that person, negative Nancy. They ain't never got nothing positive to say. They always talking about what's going wrong. Or they drain your energy so much that you don't have nothing left for you. That is the quickest way to let life kick you. Okay? That's the quickest way to get knocked down right on your butt by life. By allowing folks to disrupt your peace. You got to guard your peace. I'm already, now mind you, I'm already evicted, broke, and trying to rebuild my life. I don't have time to be dealing with no negativity. I can't be having people that's bringing me down. So I had to be very careful about who I allowed in my space. And y'all, this is important. It's down to your mate and everything, because I'm going to tell you one thing. If I ain't that man I got, ooh, that man know how to speak life and remind you to speak life over your situation, to remind you that what you say has power. So you better say the right stuff. Everybody in your life matters. You've got to guard your peace. And so how do you do that? Don't pick up that phone. Don't answer the text. Don't accept the invite. You're on a peace hiatus right now. It's important that you guard your peace. It's vital. And this, I would say, is one of the most important ones. And here's why. Because if there's chaos all around you, it's going to be hard to manage your mindset. So we've already talked about, number one, managing your mindset by pausing but not quitting. We talked about rewrite your story and how you tell it to yourself, how you talk to yourself. And we talked about break down and write your blueprint. What's your blueprint? What you going to do now? All of that needs you to be in a peaceful state. If you worked up all the time, mad and pissed off and angry and ready to hurt somebody and arguing with somebody and feeling like you drained because you're giving all of you to everybody else and putting yourself on the back burner, and every time you turn around there's some negative chaos and he say, she say, you're not going to be able to do none of them. So, quick run down again. Number one, what's number one? Mindset. Manage your mindset by pausing but not quitting. Number two, rewrite the story you tell to yourself. Number three, that blueprint. Create that blueprint. Okay, I'm here now. I lost my job, but this is what I'm going to do now. I'm divorced. I didn't want to be, but this is what I'm going to do now. I'm starting this business. Failed once, but this is what I'm going to do now. Starting today, I'm going to do this, and then for the first week, this is what happens. After I do this, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go to this. Write it down. And then number four, guard your peace. Ask God to keep you, cover you, guide you, give you a spirit of discernment of who you let into your space. Guard your peace. This has been another episode of the Think Yourself Better podcast with me, V. I'm your girl, Vanlicia Davidson, and I love you. And I pray that God blesses you beyond measure. If you are dealing with life kicking you, you know what? Get yourself together. Get your stance and let life know, you mess with the right one, because I ain't losing the battle. I might be down, but I'm not out. And take it from me. If you lose it, you can get it back. If you had it once, you can get it twice. You got to believe it. I hope that you have been blessed by something that I said on the show tonight. And I wish you all the blessings that God has for you. I pray that you begin to see yourself how God sees you. And I pray that you will pass this on to someone who needs it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with somebody. Much love. Bye.